Hey there! We've been traveling for more than 50 years on planes, trains, and automobiles, and sometimes even boats and ships. Now we're trying our luck with RVs and vans. We're Bravo 2. Come with us to see what kind of trouble we can get into, and hopefully out of, as we continue our travels. But buckle up, because safety first.
So on January 29th, we bought a van. It was a 2023 Ford Transit, bare bones, nothing in it, and a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, our first trip in it, we had to do a no-build because my stepfather passed away up in New Hampshire. So within a week, we were on the road back up to New Hampshire, and we did a whole video recording, and one of these days we'll go ahead and post that. Then came back and went to work, and now we are building a van.
So as many of you know, we've been following a lot of the advice we got from Far Out Ride. Thank you, Far Out Ride, for many things, including their 4-season floor. Mostly because I don't want to be cold in the winter again. So for the 4-season floor, we'll be doing mini cell in between the corrugations. And for those of you who don't know, Ford Transit's corrugations are
hell.
Well, let's just say they're variations, and they're also they also are 0.4 inches deep. And Hein over at DIY Van has the mini cell, that exact depth. So we have the mini cell, and we're cutting it in strips to fit. It's a little too rainy. We'll call it rainy. A little too rainy today to glue it down. We don't want to glue it down in that kind of humidity. So we're just fitting the pieces. Right now, I'm measuring, making a map, and Bravo 2 is doing the cutting.
Once Bravo 1 finished with the mini cell and we got it all laid out, we used the existing van floor to cut or outline and then cut the insulation. Once the insulation was cut, even though this is going to show just one take, it took a couple times, a couple recuts, little notches throughout the frame to get it to work, but I would say overall it goes in pretty easy, especially with that template that came with the van. Once we got it all in place, we did the exact same thing with 1/2-inch plywood.
So Bravo 2, what are you doing now?
I am putting down mold and mildew paint on our floor because our floor is glued, our floor is sanded, and now we are putting down the mold and mildew paint so that the only thing left to do with our floor after that will be what, babe? Putting down the glue and the vinyl.
So we got the vinyl from Lowe's, and we started applying that over my son's house. And while we were there, we also employed him to help me put the roof rack on. We got the roof rack from AVC Rigs. And then came the fun part, the first hole that we put in the van. It's pretty nerve-wracking punching a big hole in the roof of a $60,000 investment. But as you can see, it all worked out.
Well, hot dog, baby. We got a fan.
But then we had to start with insulation. First we started with kill mat as just a sound deadening tool. Then we moved to Thinsulite, and then we started using Havelock wool. Now we had already had some Havelock wool from our previous builds because we could install it and remove it. So after my son and I got the roof rack put up, the next part was to add the solar panels. So we got the solar panels up. We started off with 2, then we realized we needed 3 because we needed a minimum of, I believe it was 32 amps to get the Pecron to recognize them. We got it all wired up, plugged it into the Pecron, and voila, a portable electrical system. So you can see we just put the fuse boxes in kind of temporarily mounted, and that was so we could take the van on its next journey. Chattanooga, Tennessee to Moxie Van Company. As soon as you pull in, you're a little intimidated by all the vans and all the accessories, and frankly I wanted to leave the van there for about a week and have them put all kinds of stuff in. But so we had Moxie Van install the side window, the swivel seat for the passenger seat, and the Webasto heater. We got the van back to Jackson and we started to put the walls in place.
So one of the ways we found to make sure we're drilling holes in the right place in our furring strips or studs, however you want to call them, is to use carriage bolts. This was not our idea, it came from Far Out Ride, but we put lipstick on the end.
Yeah, I would say we went a little bit further because they never talked about the lipstick.
Yeah, no, we put lipstick on the end to mark them. We did, however, buy a slightly different size. M8 and M6 are different lengths, so we, Bravo 1 quickly figured out a way to have them measure them against a line on the pencil so we can make sure they're all the right length out so that when we put the board up, everything's good. But the lipstick marks it fantastically. We got an induction cooktop, a 2-burner induction cooktop, because, well, I find it very difficult to conceive of cooking actual, real, healthy meals that we would eat on a regular basis without 2 burners. I mean, if I'm gonna make spaghetti sauce, well, honestly, I need to be able to make sauce and boil water for pasta. If I'm making chicken and rice, or fish and rice, we eat a lot of rice, fish. If we're making hamburgers or hot dogs, or we're making something on, I wanted a burner for a side dish.
So now that we have cooking squared away and we're able to cook on the go, we started running 12-volt wiring throughout the van, and we also started running our external water input. You can see the hose there, and it's going to run behind the bedpost because our bed will be running east-west because we'll have pocket holes for them to rest in without giving up any leg room. So we're good to go. So you can see we've got a little bit of the plumbing for the fill tank installed already, along with the Thinsulite and the 12-volt and the AC volt. We had 4 AC current drops. One of them is a GFI plug, and that's going to be near the sink. Then we had to have lighting for the puck lights, runs for the internet, runs for the PEP Link and PEP Wave equipment. We converted that all to 12 volts, so it will connect directly to our Pecron. And we're using the Pecron a little bit differently than it was designed for, using the expansion batteries as our 30 amp. Each of them have capacity of 30 amps, and they each have 3,000 watts of power associated with them. So we kind of split the buses up to bus 1 and bus 2, and then using a kind of a hodgepodge of cabling going directly to the bus system. And you can see the diagram how we did that. Once we got all that put together, we started adding the siding. We used 3/4 inch birch for the furring strips. Our goal was not to drill into the van. Then we used 1/4 inch birch for the siding, and we plywood as drywall.
So we finally finished putting together our, let's call it the water pump box. And you might be wondering why we created this. A lot of people, when they put their water pump in and their accumulator tank. They just have it up against the wall, and I really wanted to have this system set up so that it was protected. So anything that goes in the garage area will be protected by this. You can see I've got a little door with some magnets that'll stop it, hopefully from opening up while we travel. But even if it does, it's not like anything's going to fall out. We've got the water pump going in. This hose right here, I did not cut to length or bend it right now. This has to be 15 inches to go down to the bottom of our water tank, and I didn't want to do that and put an elbow in until we tested it out in place. Now, we've already done a pressure test the other day, and we tested it, and everything worked, and I wanted to do that before we put some paint on it and before we sealed it up or put the cover on it.
So one of the things that we did and we took advantage of was to move into one of the smaller rooms to start to acclimate ourselves living in a smaller piece of real estate. It's important to note that at this point we really believed that we had until about July 15th. That was going to be our target date of departure. But instead, circumstances made us have to change that departure time to June, the second week in June. So we were in crash mode. We left before the van was completely finished, and we've been kind of building as we go, and in hopes that we will learn from our mistakes and be able to fix it as we go, and we'll also know what we want and what we don't want.
Pops, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go. Let's get back on the road.
Well, hello, America. This is Bravo 2 Travels coming to you for the first full official trip in our new van. After we did our test run a couple times in different rental vans, and now we built our own, and this is day one. Anyways, here we go. Safety first. Be careful out there. Peace out.
Get that squirrel.